of Education, would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that
Mr.
motion.
Keelan makes that motion. May I have a second? Mr. Schultz make that second. All those in favor? 5-0. Megan? Citizens participation statements?
Thank you, Mr. President. As per Board Policy BDDH, we had no request for participation.
Written communications?
We had no written communications either.
Mr. Bardell, Military Liaison Report?
Hello, Mr. President. First off, Fort Leonard would like to really thank the school district. We had the opportunity earlier this month to host a district invitational cross-country meet, and we do really appreciate you coming up to the Piney Valley and running your district cross-country up there and giving us that opportunity to support the school. Fort Leonard Wood will again host the Missouri Special Olympics Bowling Championships on the 23rd of October. The event kicks off at 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and we'll have a lot of children out there participating with that in the Special Olympics. We're also hosting the annual Fall Fun Festival next Wednesday, the 25th of October, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Pippin Youth Center. And that's an activity that's geared towards families and is put together by a lot of private and other private organizations and agencies throughout Pulaski County. Make a Difference Day is Saturday, the 28th of October. Expect to see a lot of volunteers throughout the community, the tri-community, Fort Leonard Wood, St. Robert, and Waynesville, doing various different volunteer projects. And in conclusion, trick-or-treating, Fort Leonard Wood will be trick-or-treating on Tuesday, 31 October, between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And that's all we had.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Bardell. District announcements?
Thank you, Mr. President. Wayne, will you be bringing candy?
I just thought you'd notice my hair is growing out.
Well, your hair has grown out just a little bit, yes. Okay.
I will be bringing candy.
Just like mine. Mine grew out from this morning. So, but for tonight, welcome East Elementary. We have our fine East Elementary faculty over here. I can't say how much I appreciate you coming tonight. We've went through a great deal of transition this year, and I know that that's not been easy, but these people have stepped up and done a lot of things for the kids at East Elementary. I'm very excited to see that K-5 school continue to grow, and well, I know not continue to grow too much enrollment-wise. I think you guys are probably happy where it is, but definitely looking forward to all the great things you're going to do. So thank you for coming. October is National Principals Month, and I want to recognize and thank all of our principals who do such a great job in their buildings. Also want to thank everyone for participating in the homecoming activities this year. Next month, Partridge will be receiving the Traveling Tiger Pride Trophy for winning first place in the homecoming parade. So congratulations, Partridge. I'll have you know I went out there, and she said, well, we're not really competing very hard this year and all that. And then, of course, they come up with this great, so it was very, very covert. I didn't have an opportunity to go spy or anything like that. So, but great job. Parent-teacher conferences will be held from 3:30 to 7:30, Tuesday, October 24th, and Thursday, October 26th, so that more working parents can attend their children's conferences. There will be no school on Friday, October the 27th. Thanks to the passage of Prop 1, we're able to continue to rent our facilities to the community, and a new system for public use to reserve our facilities went online today, and that's through an app called School Dude. Radio really liked that this morning, so you just go on the main page. You will be able to do all of your paperwork through that app. It'll eventually move to our district page, resources page. We recently completed our climate survey of our staff, and while there's always room for improvement, I'm pleased to report that we had very high marks on this survey. The WHS Theater Department and Thespian Troupe 1669 will present the play Don't Tell Mother by Monk Ferris on October 19th through the 22nd. Performances will begin at 7 p.m. on October 19th through the 21st. Sunday is a matinee at 2:30. Tickets range from $3 to $5. Also, if you're a senior citizen and you have an activities pass, you may be admitted for free. If you do not have a pass, come by my office and we will get you a pass for a senior who reside in our community. Unity Day also also known as Bully Prevention Day, will be Wednesday, October 25th, and we invite you to wear orange in support of our efforts to implement a positive bully-free school environment. Snack in a Pack will host the first Pulaski County Punt, Pass, and Kick Challenge from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, October 28th at Tiger Stadium, and that's for all ages, I've heard. So, Mr. O'Reilly, if
Why
you
are you
want to
looking at me? Why are you looking at
pass, or kick your way into stardom, you'll be able to do so on
Think they
October
had somebody in
28th.
my age
Yes,
bracket.
yes. In observance of Veterans Day, there will be no school on Friday, November 10th. There will also be no school on Wednesday, November 22nd through Friday, November 24th for the Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. Consent items, bid recommendations, Dr. Berger.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. Yes, all Career Center enhancement grant, pretty fairly routine items beyond that, though.
6B, financials, Dr. Berger.
Thank you again, Mr. President. October 10th, 2017, in MOSIP account, $45,429,646.60. CDs with Bank of Crocker, $10.5 million. In our general account, $1,602,565.35. Payroll account, $5,885.75. Total funds for October, $57,538,097.70.
Thank you. Study session minutes of 9:18 to 17. Continuing with the consent items, regular session minutes of 9:18 to 17. 6C, closed session minutes of 9:18 to 17. 6F, special closed session minutes of 10:05 to 17. I need a motion to approve the consent items.
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Schultz. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Deering seconds. All in favor? 5-0, Megan. CTA Spotlight, Mrs. Hayes.
Good evening. In September, East Elementary participated in a multicultural day, and we did that in conjunction with Love of Reading Day. All the classes presented PBLs, a culminating activity, but our English language learner class did something special this year. They produced, directed, and edited their video, which you're about to see. And in this video, they teach you a little bit about where their family comes from, some of their culture, and some of their language. So we're proud to present our ELL group.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. And I'm Natalie. Hi, and I'm Miguel. Our families are from Mexico. They speak Español. Mexico is south of the United States. Hola means hello. Amigos means friends. Hasta la vista, baby. The schools are different from Germany because we have 3 recesses and the classes are different. I moved here in the middle of 3rd grade, and I learned how to speak better English by listening to other people speak. Germany is in Europa, and next to it, the first word in German is choose, which means buy, and the second word is sei lieb, and that means be good. And the third word is Gesundheit, which means bless you. And the other word is sei lieb in der Schule, and that means be good.
Hello, I'm going to teach you how to count in German. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
My name is Tiara, and this is my brother Ty. This is one of the many flags Samoa has. Our family is from Samoa. Fafe Tai Labu. Hi, I'm Austin. Hi, I'm Claire. We are from Japan. This is the flag from Japan. Konnichiwa means hello. Neko means cat.
Isaac. I'm going to be teaching you a couple of words from Haiti. My dad's from Haiti, and he taught me a couple of words from Haiti, and I'm going to be teaching you them. So, crayon means pencil.
Pakistan. In Pakistan, they speak Urdu. Assalamualaikum, which means how.
Guten Morgen, I am Finn. I am from Missouri. My mom was born in Germany. I have two people that I know in Germany that are that are Oma and Opa, known as Grandpa and Grandpa.
Hello, I am Madison, and I went to Korean school, and this is how you say hello in Korean. Annyeong. Amber. My name is Grace. My name is Amber. We're both from the Philippines, and half of our family was born in the Philippines, not all of.
Well, that's very entertaining, those kids. Item 7B, spotlight on education, Mr. Beecamp.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, so I'll try and keep it. All right, so tonight we're recognizing East, and we're going to do our certified staff member first, and it's Joshua Wiltfong, if you want to come on up here. Mr. Wiltfong joined the East team in late June. He has been a great addition to East Elementary. He is always willing to help and available at a moment's notice. He has been working hard to collaborate with all teachers and even serves as an enrichment partner for RTI. He is innovative and creative in bringing new resources and learning opportunities to our students. Mr. Wilfong is very prompt in answering tech questions and is always patient to work through solutions when anyone has a tech or instructional problem. He builds relationships easily and offers a lot to our students in regards to building 21st century skills. So, Mr. Wilfong. All right, and our classified recognition tonight goes to Julie West. If you'll come up here, Julie. Mrs. West has been a secretary at East Elementary for over 3 years. She works hard every single day and knows most everything about the building and is willing to share her knowledge with those who have questions. She goes out of her way to help provide teachers with any assistance they may need to provide for their students. She's always patient, kind, and smiling to all who enter our schools, and always has candy if you're looking for her. Mrs. West handles changes with ease and grace and is a role model to all when it comes to maintaining a positive attitude. We are truly blessed to have her at East. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item 8A, first quarter project teacher award, Mrs. Bales.
Thank you, Mr. President. Project Teach is sponsored by Seller Sexton Auto Group. Seller Sexton Auto Group will donate a $100 stipend to Elizabeth Zolman to support expenses related to a project's materials and supplies. Mrs. Zolman teaches English Language Arts at Partridge Elementary. Mike Freeman is here tonight to award Mrs. Zolman with the first quarter Project Teach Award.
Well, good evening. Is Ms. Zolman here? That is okay. That is all right. We have Miss Bales, and thank you, Miss Bales, for coming up here, and what an honor it is for me. We were planning this out just in case, and Mrs. Zollman, I'm sure, is working on a disaster project tonight, because that's exactly what her classroom project was about. So, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the board, as well as all of our patrons and the teachers, as we well know, we recognize wonderful teachers for their outstanding work, and I'd like to read to you what Mrs. Zollman project was. She is a teacher at Partridge Elementary. She had a project called We're Ready. And let me tell you what this is about. September is normally the National Disaster Preparedness Month for our calendar year. The students were researching different disasters that were occurring right during the month of September, such as Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, the wildfires that are going on currently right now on the West Coast. They also looked at what natural disasters occur right here in Missouri in our local area. Once they learned about these disasters that occurred in Missouri, the students created safety plans for their own houses as well as disaster preparedness kits for their homes. The American Red Cross came to the school on September the 22nd to talk with the students about their pillowcase project, in which they, with this pillowcase project, they prepared kits that they put in pillowcases to help them during disasters. So at the end of the lesson, the students learned how to present this information, and then they learned how to be prepared for themselves as well as their families, as well as their classroom students. So this grant tonight that we're getting, this money of $100 to go will help her with her classroom to expand that to help other students with preparing their own pillowcase project. So tonight we're recognizing Miss Elizabeth Zollman, your first quarter Teacher of the Quarter for the 2017-2018 year. So you all get to spend her money, but let her know how much you appreciate it, and I'm sure this money will go to her classroom. So join with me in recognizing Miss Elizabeth Zollman as your first quarter Teacher of the Quarter.
Mr. Freeman, we also want to, I think, on behalf of the board and everybody here, thank you and Stellar Sexton for all the work you do for our district, from the Drive It Forward that goes to our Booster Club and to this. We truly appreciate what you guys do for us.
It's an honor to serve.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did receive a phone call from Dr. Foreman. He wanted me to congratulate his daughter,
That's right.
and so I publicly did that, even though she wasn't here. 9A, beginning the year of performance. Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. Tonight I'm going to share the data for our beginning of the year assessments. These assessments will serve as a baseline to monitor student growth and to make adjustments in instructional planning as the year progresses. Data for the district writing prompt as well as beginning of the year STAR assessments will be reviewed. The district writing prompt is utilized across grade levels 4 times per year to measure student progress in writing towards mastery of end-of-year writing standards. The writing prompt presents the student with unfamiliar text to which they respond. This is similar to what a student would see on a state assessment and in real life, where we are teaching students to read information that they come in contact with and respond to the information. The writing prompt is assessed in 3 areas. Area 1 is question. This assesses the student's ability to develop an idea that addresses the topic of the prompt. In the area of question, 43.1% students were proficient on the first writing prompt. Area 2 of the writing prompt is text evidence. This assesses the student's ability to respond to the prompt using specific and relevant text-based details. 41.5% of students were proficient in this area. Area 3 looks at the student's ability utilizing grade level appropriate conventions. 41.1% of students were proficient in this area. The writing prompt data is one data point that teachers utilize along with daily classwork in order to plan for and modify instruction in the area of writing. The Step Up to Writing process will be utilized to support writing instruction across the district. The STAR Early Literacy Assessment is utilized to assess the early literacy skills of kindergarten students. Across the district, between 54 and 61% of students met the fall benchmark, with the average scale scores ranging from 511 to 541. The STAR reading test assesses students in the area of reading. All students in grades 1 through 10 are assessed. The percentage of students meeting the benchmark at each grade level ranged from 45 to 65%. Fall 2016 scores were not included for comparison as the cut scores were renormed by Renaissance Learning over the summer, which makes year-to-year comparison unreliable. The scale score cut lines were raised in grades 3 and above as compared to previous years. Although our scores are fairly consistent with where they were last year, even with the new higher cut scores. This slide represents the percentage of students who met the STAR reading benchmark at each elementary building. This slide depicts the average STAR reading scale score by grade level. A fairly consistent pattern of growth can be seen through 8th grade, at which point scores begin to level out. The list to the right shows the scale score needed to meet the benchmark at all grade levels. With the exception of 9th grade, the average scale score exceeds the fall benchmark level across the district. This slide shows the average scale score by building at the elementary level, and across the board, the average scale scores in each building exceeded the fall benchmark cut score. This slide shows the average grade level equivalency at each grade level. Average grade level equivalencies met or exceeded the current grade level through 6th grade. And the data on this slide shows the average grade level equivalency by building for each of our elementary buildings. The STAR math test assesses students in the area of mathematics. All students in grades 1 through 8 are assessed. The percentage of students meeting the benchmark ranged from 59 to 79%. As with reading, the fall 2016 scores were not included as the math cut scores were also renormed over the summer. All fall benchmark cut scores were increased from prior years in that norming process. This chart shows the percentage of students meeting the benchmark at each elementary building. This slide depicts the average STAR math scale score by grade level. A fairly consistent pattern of growth can be seen through 6th grade, at which point the scores begin to level out. The list to the right shows the scale scores needed to meet the benchmark. All grade levels exceeded that fall benchmark level. This slide shows the average scale score by each elementary building. And as with reading, across the board at the elementary level, the average scale scores exceeded the fall benchmark cut score. At the elementary level, in each building, the average grade level equivalency met or exceeded the actual grade that they were being tested in. And in the middle grades, the average grade level was 6.2 at the 6th grade center, and it was 6.7 for 7th grade and 7.1 for 8th grade. Oh, there we go. As was stated at the beginning of the presentation, this data will serve as our baseline for the current year, and student progress will be monitored throughout the year to ensure students are on track to meet or exceed grade level expectations. This data will be used in conjunction with our other local assessments as we plan and make decisions for our students in the instructional planning process. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Atkins. 9B, Library Media Report, Mr. Henson.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to share some information about our library media. Our goals and objectives is to provide teachers and students with the resources to become 21st century learners within a safe learning environment, provide learning opportunities for faculty, staff, and students on the best practices for the resources provided to them, and to research and stay informed of the current policies and trends pertaining to media and technology. So here's a picture of one of our library media centers, and we know, you know, in the past, the library media center was seen as an area where you would go check in, check out books. But today, library media centers are seen as an extension of the classroom. It's where teachers and students can go to get the resources they need in order to complete, whether it be a task of some sort. So within our library media centers, we have 10 currently. We have 10 library media specialists. These probably are some of the most important resources we have in our school, along with our technology integration specialist. At Freedom and East, we have 2 in each building. At the high school, middle school, 6th grade center, and in post-elementary, we have 1. And at our career center, early childhood, and Piney, we currently have no library media specialist. We have 7 technology integration specialists. You got to meet one of them tonight, Mr. Will Fong, who is our CTA Spotlight educator. At the high school, we have 1.5. They share a tech with the 6th grade center. At the middle school, career center, Freedom and East, we have 1. In our post-elementary schools, they share 1. Currently at our early childhood and Piney, we have no tech specialists. So one thing, because if you visited school, you would see that the Library Media Center is probably one of the most busiest areas that you would find within a school setting. So we want to make sure, one thing I like to make sure of, is that there's a welcoming atmosphere when students or teachers walk into a building, or even parents. So this is survey data over the past 2 years. You can see that, you know, the strongly agree and agree is pretty favorable as far as our library media centers having a welcoming atmosphere. School library media centers are a place of opportunity. This is where students can come to collaborate, they can come to create things, develop a love of reading, and explore the world around them either through print or electronic resources. So in our library media centers this year, as of the first day of school, there's been over 31,000 books circulated or checked out. A lot of our elementary schools have genre-fied their nonfiction collections. So you can think of that kind of like if you walk into a big bookstore, you would see over here would be maybe your animal books. And then they may have those animal books broken down by reptiles or birds or mammals or so forth. We have both fixed and flex schedules. Our flex schedules, basically those library media specialists are wide open, their schedules all day long to collaborate and work with teachers. In the buildings that are fixed, they are both fixed and flexed, meaning that to accommodate the schedules, some of their schedules have to be fixed where they have classes at certain times of the day, but that other time, that other media specialist is usually open to have flex scheduling with students and teachers at that time. Something else we've had going on this year is guest readers. We have our rocking chair program, rocking chair readers, where we have senior citizens that come in and read. We have community members, whether it be PI partners or anyone else from the community that comes in. Then we also, at some of our school buildings now, we have therapy dogs. Also within our library media centers, we have our makerspace areas. We do a lot of teacher tech PD. And then one of the things that I'm most proud of is when I started this position 3 years ago, is we started a Love of Reading Day. And I think it's grown, and I think it's one of the most important days that we have each school year. So this is just a couple pictures here of our guest readers. Up in the top left, you will see this is one of our PI partners coming in reading. Over in the top right, that is our rocking chair readers. We love it when our seniors can come in and read to those students. And then down below is Clancy, one of our, I believe it's Clancy, is that right? Clancy is one of our therapy dogs sitting there reading with a student at Partridge Elementary. Another big thing that has taken off in library media centers is makerspace areas. Okay, and a makerspace area is just an area that offers students a place where they can be creative using resources such as computers, iPads, manipulatives, crafts, etc. In our makerspace areas, we do a lot of coding. We have the Lego We-Dos, we have the Mindstorms, Dash and Dot robots. Mr. Wilfong, who you saw up earlier, he's piloting with the 5th grade students at East currently a coding program called Itch. So we're going to see how that goes. There's all kinds of manipulatives to build things with, to create things with. We have Lego story starter kits, craft materials, iPads, you name it, within that makerspace area. Just an area within the media center where students can come and be creative. We do offer teacher tech PD through our tech specialists and librarians. There's an example at top left where they do a whole group training, but then also on the top right, you know, at Wood Elementary, they've gotten a little creative and they do learning lunches. So the teachers during their lunch periods would come into the lab and the tech is there providing PD to them during that time. Then down below, you'll see that the virtual reality headset, we purchased a software called Nearpod. With that software, these teachers are using those virtual reality headsets to go on virtual tours, field trips. So here is this year's Love of Reading Day. We had a diversity theme. Last year when we were revising our CSEP, when diversity came up as a theme, 2 of our media specialists are on that CSEP revision team, and I said, please don't let me forget that we need to do a diversity theme with our Love of Reading Day. And that's exactly what we did, and I think it was a success. You know, we had students who dressed up as their culture. Right there in the middle, we have Missouri S&T out of Rolla. Their their student diversity group came up to visit. We only had 1 student, but the gentleman who runs the program said he would love to come back with 15 to 20 students. The reason they could only send 1 at that time was it was right in the middle of midterm, so they couldn't get a lot of students to come up, but they said they would love to come back and visit us. Down at the bottom picture in the bottom right, that's some of our international soldiers that came in and presented. They had parades through the school celebrating diversity. Lots of books, you know, with different diverse themes were shared across the district. It was just a really, really good day to celebrate diversity and the love of reading, and we truly enjoyed it. Our next Love of Reading Day, we have 2 a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. Our next one is March 2nd, which happens to be Dr. Seuss's birthday, and it's also National Read Across America Day. So if we have any volunteers to be Cat in the Hat, please let me know. Okay. Then we have our 2-to-1 initiative, and you know, it's fully implemented right now where we have 1 laptop per 2 students. It's fully implemented right now in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. And next year, we're going to look to expand that on to our 3rd and 9th grade students. And what this is doing is providing our students a relative learning experiences throughout the school. And you'll see in these pictures here, this is where I believe it was a 4th grade group who did some type of research project, if I remember correctly. Then you'll see there, sitting in front of them, they're presenting to kindergartners. So we have our older students presenting to our younger students, and what a great experience for them to do that. And lastly here, I would just like to say thank you to you as a board, because you guys have been very, very supportive always of the Library Media Center and the programs and technology. Also, thank you to our central administrators, because you guys have been very supportive as far as getting the technology into the hands of our students. And I would like to say thank you to our patrons also, because last year you guys came up and you voted for Prop 1, which allowed us to get more technology into the hands of our students, and you know, we are grateful for that and like to say thank you. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take those at this time.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Library was someplace I didn't venture very much in high school, but I'm glad we got it here. Number 9C, proposed job description revisions. Mrs. Bales.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached proposed job description revisions are presented for your review as first reading. 2.21, Director of Curriculum and Instructional Technology. 2.47.1, Data Processing Director. 4.08.1, Executive Secretary to the Superintendent. 4.08.6, Purchasing/Accounts Payable Specialist. 4.088, Student Information Specialist. 4.13.4, Food Service Lunch Program Secretary. The administration will request approval at the regular November meeting.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. 9D, MSBA Policy and Procedure Updates. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a TABS meeting recently to begin reviewing a rather lengthy set of policies and procedures this time around. As mentioned in your weekly update, I will let you know that we had several policies that had to do with technology, data security, and things of that nature. We tabled those in the tabs level for this month, and we'll get those on for a first reading for you a month from now, as when we went through, we were one of 5 school districts in the state of Missouri to actually have the technology audit, if you all remember. In response to that, we had started developing many of those policies and procedures that MSBA is just coming out with now. So we're going back and cross-referencing everything that we have and making sure that what we have currently locally developed is matching MSBA. We'll get all that detail back out, have another TABS committee meeting, and get that to you next month.
Thank you. 9E, Waynesville Middle School construction update. Dr. Berger?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We welcome Don Hussman from DHA and to give us our monthly progress report for Waynesville Middle School.
Well, good evening. I'm happy to report to you this month that we finally have a building that looks like a building over there. So a lot of steel has gone up in the last month since I was here last, and this is a couple of progress photos from September the 27th. And kind of rainy day and muddy site, but still we were able to begin to get some steel erected. We've got a couple of iron workers here that are finally preparing these are the footings for what we call the portion A of the building, and that is the physical education piece of the middle school. So they are in the process here of installing footings, and I'm happy to report, I was over there earlier this evening, all the footings are in place and they are forming walls finally over there, so that's a good thing. These next few images come up to October the 11th. Again, another kind of a rainy day. We've actually had, I believe since I've reported to you last, we've lost 3 days due to weather conditions. So we'll do our best to see if those can be made up. But you can see in this image that the structural steel, those are the heavier, bigger members, are going up, and they're forming both the single floor and the roof structure. And bar joists are going up on the upper left portion of the building there. You can see some of the steel floor decking is now being installed, and it was just last Friday. Kevin, how many yards of concrete? 110 yards of concrete. That's a lot of concrete that was placed on Friday to begin to form the second floor portion of the building, and this image is looking directly west. As I stated earlier, this is actually a pretty recent, the photo is from the 11th, but it's the condition is still pretty similar over there where that foundation is being prepared. And that's the last portion of the foundation that will be prepared. There are other floor slabs that need to be poured, but this is, I believe, the last portion of the actual foundation, other than maybe some incidental infill areas. Here's an image up on the second floor prior to the pouring of that floor slab that we had mentioned, and all of those kind of crazy lines there. That's all of the underfloor electric coming up to probably what will be an electric panel location there. But there's a lot of information or a lot of technical items that go into those floors before they are poured. Structural steel waiting to be placed, and that's the heavier steel members obviously go up first, and then the bar joist and the decking. And this is the last image, and I've been showing you the conditions at the head wall, but this is the, if we were standing directly in Mitchell Creek, that area is now finished with the concrete head wall and then the very, very large rock that backfilled behind it. Any questions? I believe that is the last image. It is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Action item 10A, 2017-18 transportation routes approval. Dr. Berger and Mr. Wilking.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll have Mr. Wilking come up, and he's put together a little overview for you, and then he'll field any questions on the routes. Specific to this year, we had the K-5 realignment, which the routes have really, that's been a real positive of the entire process, among other positives, but that one was as good as we anticipated. So, Mr. Wilking?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Berger, Mr. President. We'll go through just a real quick generalization of the transportation review. Got to know how to, there we go. Got to know how to operate the machinery. You know, goals and objectives of the program: transport students safely to and from school at all times, provide accurate information to parents, students, and school officials, develop and maintain knowledge and skills to provide a safe, efficient, and reliable transportation system for our patrons. Progress toward meeting the goals and objectives, monitor and balance student loads for route efficiency, and that's a continuing, ongoing process. Maintain a transportation department webpage on the district website to keep all stakeholders informed. Process bus discipline in a timely manner, maintain bus safety. Utilize bi-weekly training meetings to disseminate pertinent information. Utilize small group, instructional groups to enhance knowledge base of our staff. And as a new system I'm implementing is a mentor program for our new drivers, because we're getting quite a few of those. Talk a little bit about K-5 alignment. You know, with the statistics of going on, the drive time has been eliminated between East and Freedom schools. So those are the waves that's been eliminated. There's been reduced discipline on the bus. Students are home on an average of 20 minutes earlier. Drivers are back to the bus yard an average of 20 minutes earlier. East routes are averaging approximately 48 miles less per week. The Freedom routes are averaging approximately 25 miles less per week. And the reason there's a discrepancy a little bit above it because we had to work on Route 54 and split that up a little bit. So hopefully we can get those where they're pretty much mimic each other. And then again, that's cost saving, you know, to our school district of, you know, running less miles, saving fuel and wear and tear on the buses. And then an explanation of the data used to evaluate the program's effectiveness. Again, we have an internally developed database that's used to track the bus mileage by category. We maintain our discipline records through the East School, and we have TigerNet is utilized to maintain and track our trips and hours worked by employees. And then our mechanics use the Quantum Solutions maintenance tracking software, you know, to help track bus maintenance and repair costs. And then recommendations for continued or improved effectiveness. Route modifications will be performed on continual basis. Again, that's just ongoing, day to day, looking at our routes, looking at how many students are riding each bus, and trying to make sure that everything is spaced out and they're all safe, you know, while riding the bus. The students transported and the numbers of miles driven will also be used to determine the efficiency. The transportation director will work with building principals and bus drivers to improve student discipline. On that one, I can't say enough with the working relationship between myself, staff, and our building principals. You know, we all work together as a team to help make sure our buses are safe. We also have the biannual safety inspections will be conducted. Our main inspection again this past is back in March. I received an award back in July that our buses, again, received the Fleet of Excellence from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. I think it's like 17 years in a row. And again, that's justified to our mechanics and our staff for that. Again, we track annual repairs to ensure expenses are justified. And again, we've implemented a new recruitment process to help attract more bus drivers. I know we made a new jingle commercial. It's going on the radio. I think Channel 12 also has helped us. I know Fort Leonard Wood has invited me out. I've been out there to one of their recruiting fairs to help there. So again, you know, thank you for that. And it's an ongoing thing, you know, trying to recruit more and more bus drivers. I know I was leaving Springfield today, and about every corner I saw, you know, there's a bus and a sign up there. So, you know, it's a thing that we just, you know, keep pushing at and trying to attract more drivers to help us out. Are there any questions?
Very good. Need safety when you transport the students, so that's very good, Carl.
Thank you.
Mr. President, as I think our single action item, we're asking for board approval tonight on the route approval. Again, Mr. Wilkins is going to make some minor adjustments to balance East and Freedom. Any major adjustments would come to the board as a revision to the official bus routes, but asking for action on that, please.
I need a motion to approve the transportation routes. Mr. Deering makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Schultz seconds it. All those in favor? The last thing, I'd just like to recognize Rick Vernon. Rick was inducted into the Hall of Fame, Missouri Hall of Fame today, and Rick had served as our football coach for 33 years. His 2007 football team won the state 5 class championship. I've known Rick 30 of those 35 years, I think, personally. And it was a real nice ceremony. Mr. Deering and I was able to be there today and saw it. And I think it was well-deserved. And on behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to congratulate him on the board. If there's no other business, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Keelan makes that motion, and I have a second. Mr. Deering seconds it. All those in favor? 5-0, and we are adjourned.